Hi, I'm Ed from Blue Mind. I'm here with
Colin.
Hi, Colin. You're at Stafford. You've just done a spin class.
Yes, spin and abs. So
Okay.
It's an early morning class.
It is. It has been very early
So
morning.
You have to get up early for it. It's 6:30. Yeah.
6:30 at Stafford Leisure
Bit of a
Centre.
challenge.
Come on down and tell us a little bit about the importance of exercise when you do it, and cycling particularly.
Yeah. People are different. People enjoy exercise at different times of the day. I like morning exercise, but I do a variety of stuff. But I think it just gives you a sense of well-being. I think every time I come back from it, I feel a bit of a buzz from it.
Yeah.
And the more I do it, the more I'm inclined to do it. It's certainly, it releases endorphins. You just feel better for doing it.
So there's a hormonal. Obviously, you feel stronger, you feel better, you keep your body in shape.
You're getting fitter, you're getting healthier. You feel everything becomes easier. So
Great.
trotting up the stairs is a bit of a doddle.
Yeah.
Things that you do in everyday life really don't stretch you at all.
So it's about functional fitness for
it's
getting
functional
older.
Fitness, but I also think it's just good for your well-being, mental health, just the way you feel after doing it.
Great.
Is you get a bit of release. Well, I do anyway, and I'm sure, I think most people do.
Yes, well, that's why I'm
They
here.
might curse me afterwards a bit.
No, absolutely not. What about routine? How important is that in life planning and exercise?
For me, it's a bit different because I'm obviously instructing quite a bit.
Yeah.
I take quite a few classes a week,
Yeah.
But I also still do other people's classes.
Great.
And I do have a routine for doing that. I have classes that I attend. I'm teaching regularly. I'm also attending classes regularly.
Okay.
Because having a bit of a rota means you stick to it, really. It's very tempting if you don't have any kind of program in a way in your life.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
actually keep it going. And the odd days you think, I think I'll just stay in bed and have a coffee or whatever. But it just keeps you motivated.
Absolutely. I felt like that this morning. Just get up and do it, stick it in the diary, get it done.
And if it becomes a regular thing, it just becomes a routine, and it's a good routine. You feel good for doing it.
Sure. And what about if you don't exercise, if you're very overweight, if you're worried about what to start with, what would you recommend if you just need to get going?
Yeah, I think there are, certainly here you've got, and most gyms, you've got exercises that don't involve impact work, and I would say largely if you're carrying a bit more weight to start off with, which a lot of people are when they start coming to the gym. Some people are a bit self-conscious about coming to a gym if they're not fully fit, but the whole function of the gym is to try and get you to your best condition. So
absolutely,
don't worry about that. There's people at all different stages, beginners, people that are experienced, and there are exercises which don't stretch you. When you're carrying more weight, you don't want to have too much impact stuff. So I personally wouldn't recommend a lot of running when you're carrying too much weight.
Maybe walking to start with.
Treadmills where you can put an incline on the treadmill.
Okay,
so
great.
It gives you something where you're pushing the resistance level, the workload.
Yeah.
But again, you're not pounding joints.
Absolutely, great advice.
Big advantage of cycling, in fact.
Yes, indeed. That's why I do it, because my ankles are feeling it a bit, and it's not so weight bearing, but you're still getting the strength.
I'm not young, so I'm in my 60s now.
Come on now.
So there's obviously wear and tear. So I tend to find that I can get problems, irritations with my knees.
Right.
Not with cycling particularly. So cycling is.
Do you take any supplements, sort of oils, turmeric?
I don't really know, I have to say.
Okay.
A good few people do, but I don't. I have taken oils at times, capsules and.
Mainly omega, isn't it?
Omega
Fish oils.
3,
great stuff.
I have taken, but I have to say I'm not very good with my routine on that.
No, I pop them in when I'm in the kitchen. That tends.
Again, that should be a routine. I need to start a new one.
Yeah, and if I may, don't feel. How's your mental health? We'd like some tips on improving mental health.
I feel good, pretty content with life.
Great.
And I think this is a big factor in that for me.
Fantastic.
If I wasn't exercising regularly, I certainly would feel. My wife complains that I'm irritable if I'm not exercising. So,
yes, well, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, which is I can see that because you get a buzz from doing it. Usually when I finish the class, particularly if I do an early morning class, I'm back home having a cup of coffee, having breakfast.
Yes.
And I've already done my work for the day.
You've done your workout.
And I feel good for doing it.
So now you have a whole day of other productive stuff and
but you feel,
working or fixing the garden.
Don't take garden.
Well, for me now it would be I would have a cold shower now typically, and maybe then I'd do some planning for the day or etc.
You can keep to the cold shower.
Or sauna. So any tips for people who may be struggling a bit? Again, we won't hold you this advice, you're not liable for this advice, but any tips for long-term improvement in mental health? Apart, we've talked about exercise. Anything else you do if you're feeling overwhelmed, or any?
I guess
any tips and tricks.
If you've got people you can chat to about your feelings, discuss it with somebody you trust, then I think that's good to open up about how you're feeling.
Brilliant.
Express yourself a bit. So I'd say that's a factor.
Fantastic.
For me, it's it's trying to keep a positive attitude about life. You know,
Keep
you
going.
get ups and downs.
Yeah.
But just try to take them in stride, take it one day at a time. I suppose it's a typical cliche.
No,
comment,
not at all. One day at a time.
Don't look too far ahead.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And you know, I think get yourself out and do things where you're mixing with people.
Yeah.
I think
Community.
We all need a bit of contact with other people. It's good for your health. There's always a banter in my classes. I'd be kind of disappointed if there wasn't. You get a buzz from that.
So even things like a spin class where you've got 5 to 20 people, there's community there. You feel involved with something. You get to meet people, etc.
You've seen yourself today. For the first 10 minutes, they hardly shut up. They're chatting with everybody.
Yes. Not with me though.
Well, you and you.
Not yet. Next week.
Next week.
Great.
Don't worry, it won't take long.
Great advice. Absolutely fantastic advice. Where can people find you? Have you got an Instagram or Facebook or just through Stafford Leisure
I think
Centre?
through Stafford Leisure Centre.
Okay.
I teach here, for example, 3 times a week.
Great. So get down, try a spinning class.
Yeah, give it a
Speak
try.
to a PT.
And again, spin is the perfect thing for somebody that is starting because you've got a resistance control. And at the end of the day, you can work at the level you want to.
Exactly. It's down to you at the end of the day.
There'll be people really pushing it that have been doing it regularly for years. But you can start at your own level.
Absolutely.
And I always start.
And you won't tell people off if they're.
Of course not. No, I start people on moderate levels, and the whole point is it's a moderate level for you.
Right.
So as a beginner, I stress to people not to push it too hard usually, to keep it
Absolutely.
at a lower moderate level. As you get better, you want to do more. And,
Absolutely.
And often people I've said to people, it starts to get easier after about 4 to 6 weeks. I think you do have to stick at it a bit. You can't.
You do.
1 2 weeks isn't going to make a difference.
Great advice. Nothing happens overnight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to take maybe 6 weeks to a couple of months to start to feel any benefit.
Yeah.
In truth, what I usually find is people start to push harder. They don't find it any easier because they lift their level.
Yeah.
But there was no way they'd have done it in the first 8 weeks. That's the point.
Exactly.
They
so give it some time.
Yeah, don't expect too much of yourself. Really.
Try new stuff. Don't overdo it to start with.
Again,
talk to people. Build your community.
Get out and see
obviously
people.
eat and well. Get outside. All these kind of great
tips.
I
think for me, my other love is walking outside, walking in the countryside.
Yeah, can just
so I walk the dog a lot.
Brilliant.
And that makes me feel good too.
Brilliant. Get outside. Vitamin D. It's been great to talk to you. Some great advice. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
See you again, hopefully.
Okay, great.